lorayne, a man who has the most phenomenal memory in the world. Read this book and develop a superpower memory so that you can be happy, successful, rich. How to Develop a Superpower Memory by lorayne. Forward. For Mark Twain is reported to have said everyone talks about weather, but no one does anything about it. Similarly, everyone brags about their bad memory, but few people ever do anything about it. Let's face it. It has much. Let's face it. There is much you can do. There isn't much you can do about the weather, but there's a great deal you can do about your bad memory. Many people have told me that they would give $1 million if they could acquire a memory like mine. Well, don't misunderstand me. I wouldn't turn down your offer for $1 million. But actually, the price of this book is all you need. This isn't true in the stricter sense. You also have to spend a little bit of your time and just a little effort to get your brain working. Once you started on my systems, you may be surprised as to how simple and obvious it is. It really is. If you purchased this book expecting theoretical haggling of techniques, of technical terms, you are doomed to be disappointed. You are doomed to disappointment. I have tried to write and explain the systems as if they were sitting in your living room and explaining it to you. Naturally, quite a bit of research was necessary. I've discarded most of the technical ideas, and that because I found them difficult to understand and to apply myself. I am an entertainer and a memory expert, not a psychiatrist or a doctor, and I didn't think it necessary to go into an explanation of working of the human brain and just how the memory actually works, down to cell curves, impressive, etc. So we'll find that all the ways and methods in the book are those that I use myself, and therefore feel qualified to teach you. Psychologists and educators have said that we use only a small percentage of our brain power. I think the system here will enable you to use just a little more than average. So if your operation, if like your operations, you have bragged about your poor memory, it will brag about your memory. But I think after you read this book, you'll still brag about your memory. But to the other extreme, now you'll be able to boast about possessing a wonderfully retentive and accurate memory. How keen is your observation? Which light on the top of the traffic light is red, or the green? Your first thought probably is that this is an easy question to answer. However, you put yourself in this position. You are on one of the current quiz shows that pays a lot of money for correct answers. You must answer the question correctly to win the top prize. Now then, which light is on top, red or green? If you've been able to picture yourself in the both position, you are probably hesitating. But you're not really sure which light is on top are you. If you are sure, then you're one of the minority who has observed what most people only say. There is a word for a difference between seeing and observing, proven, of course, by the fact that most of the people to whom I put the above question either get the wrong answer or are not sure even though they see the traffic lights countless times every day. By the way, red is on top of the traffic light. Green is usually at the bottom. If there is a third color, it is usually yellow. For caution, and that's one is always in the center. If you were sure red was the quick answer, let me see if you can't uncurate your pride. This was another observation. Don't look at your wristwatch. And answer the question. Is there a number 6 on your watch dial? The Arabic 6? Or is it the Roman numeral? Yeah. This over for a moment before you look at your watch. Decide your answer. If it were really important that your answer was correct, you're on the quiz show again. And there's a lot of money at stake. Alright. Here, have you decided your answer? Now look at your watch and see if you were right. Were you or were you wrong? In either case, because your watch doesn't have 6 at all, the small dial that ticks of the second watch usually occupies that space. In most modern watches, you answer this question correctly. Whether you did or did not, you have to look at your watch to check. Then you tell now the exact time on your watch, probably not. And you just looked at a second ago. Again, you saw but you didn't observe. Try this on your friend. Although people see their watches innumerable times every day, few of them can tell you about the numeral 6. Here's another one to try on your friend. But you'd better see if you can answer it first. If you are a cigarette smoker, you have seen a blue tax stamp on your pack of cigarettes. Each cigarette you take is out to remove the cigarette printed under the picture. For the top prize, our imaginary quiz shows the name of this month. Hmm. I guess you have to leave the quiz show with only the consolation prize. I say this I say this so definitely because you, about 2 or 3 of the many people I've tested, have answered one correctly. The man pictured on the graph and newsstand is the Wiz Clinton. Check it out. Check it. I don't want to be sneaky, but if you just look at the stamp and the picture of the Wiz Clinton, you must have you must have seen what Clinton was doing with his left hand. You also saw, or probably saw, 4 letters, one upper left, one upper right of the stamp. If I say that you saw these things, I don't think you observed them. You did. You should be able to tell yourself right now what the Wiz Clinton is doing with his left hand, and also name the 4 letters. Had you looked again? Had to look again, didn't you? Now you've observed that the left hand is at Clinton's temple, as if he were thinking, and the letters of the USIR for United States Internal Revenue. Don't feel too badly if you couldn't answer any of these questions. As I said before, most people can. You may recall a motion picture a few years ago which starred Randall Coleman, Ronald Coleman, Celeste Holm, and Art Linkletter. The picture was campaign for season, and it was about a man who couldn't be stumped with any question on the picture. The final of the film was the last question of the quiz, which was worth some $1 million. To earn these millions, Ronald Coleman was asked to give his own social security number. Of course he didn't know it. This was amusing and interesting to me. Anyway, since it's struck home, it proves, doesn't it, that people see but do not observe. Incidentally, do you know your social security number? Although the systems and methods contained in this book make you observe automatically, you will find some interesting observation exercises in a later chapter. The system will also make you use your imagination with more facility than ever before. I've taken the time and space to talk about observation because it is one of the things important to training your memory. The other and most important thing to associate is association. You cannot possibly remember anything that we do. We do not observe. After something is observed either by sight or hearing, it must be ordered to be remembered, be associated in our minds with, or to something we already know or remember. Since you will observe automatically when using my system, it is association with which we will mostly concern ourselves. Since you will observe automatically when using my systems, it is association with which we will mostly concern observation. Association has retaining memory simply when the connecting or trying to follow or more things. Or have managed to remember is only due to the fact you have subconsciously associated with something. Every good boy does fine. Does that sentence mean anything to you? If it does, then you must have studied music as a youngster. Almost every child that studies music is taught to remember the line, music, step, or travel club by remembering every good boy does fine. I've already stressed the importance of association, and I want to prove to you that you have used definite conscious association many times before without even realizing it. Letters E, G, B, D, and F don't mean anything. They're just letters. They're just letters. And difficult to remember. The sentence every good boy does fine does have a meaning. And it is something you know and understand. The thing you had to commit to memory was associated with something you already knew. The space of the music staff was committed to memory with the same system, the initial system, if you remember the word face and E again. You associate something to something you already knew. Something you had that meaning to you. Probably many years since you learned. June Goulet. 30 days have September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, etc. But how many times have you relied on it when it was necessary to know the numbers of the days in a particular month? If you were taught to remember that nonsense word, big boy, or the nonsense name, Roy BJ Gift, then you will still remember the color of spectrum: red, orange, yellow, blue, green, indigo, and violet. This again is association and initial system. I am sure that many times you have seen or heard something which made you snap your finger. Say, "Oh, that reminds me." Like you were already to remember something by the thing you saw or heard. Well, well, usually had no obvious connection to the thing you remembered. However, in your mind, the two things were associated in some way. This was a subconscious association right now. I am pointing out a few examples of conscious association at work. There certainly do work people who have gotten and forgotten, who have forgotten many things that they learned in their early grades. They remember the spaces and lines of the table. The literal clue. If you read this chapter, Sophia connecting as you read use it, know them by now. Even if you never study music, one of the best examples I know is one which was a great help to me. My really great spelling class, where being taught that the world believes we are spelled with E following the I. In order to help us commit this to memory, we were told, remember a short sentence, never believe a lie. This is a perfect instance of a conscious association. I know for a fact that many adults still have trouble spelling believe. They are never quite sure if I is first or if it is E. The spelling of the word believe was the new thing to remember. The word lie is a word we all already knew how to spell. None of the students that heard the little sentence ever again misspelled the word believe. Do you have trouble spelling the word peace? If you do, just remember the phrase piece of pie. This phrase will always tell you how to spell peace. Can you draw anything that resembles a map of England from memory? How about China, Japan, Czechoslovakia? You probably can't draw any of these. If I had mentioned Italy, 90% of you have immediately seen a picture of a booth in the mind in your mind's eye. In your mind's eye. Is that right? If you did, and if you draw a boot, you will have the approximate outline of a map of Italy. Why did this picture appear in your mind? Only because at one time or another, perhaps many years ago, you either heard or noticed that the map of Italy resembles a boot. The shape of Italy, of course, was the new thing to remember. The boot was something we already knew and remembered. You see, the simple conscious association helped you memorize abstract information like above examples. Very easy, and initial systems that I mentioned earlier can be used to help you memorize many things. For example, if you wanted to remember the name of Dion Quintuplets, you could try to remember the word. Basically, this would help you recall that the girls' names are Mary, Annette, Cecilia, Emily, and Yvonne. There's only one thing wrong with this idea. In its present stage, there's nothing to make you remember that the word basically is connected to Dion Quintuplets, or vice versa. If you remember the word fine, then you would probably know the name of the quints. But how do you remember the word? I'll show you how to do this in the future chapters. The system and methods in this book will show you how the principles and ideas of simple conscious association can be applied to remember anything. Yes, that's right, remember anything, including names and faces, items, objects, facts, figures, speeches, etc. In other words, the systems and methods you will learn in this book can be applied to anything and everything in everyday social and business life.